Christmas dinner should have been warm. Tree lights glowing, candles flickering, everyone pretending to love each other for one night. But before I could even take my first bite, my mom stood up so fast her chair almost fell backward. Her smile was too big, too bright, too fake. She tapped her glass. "Everyone listen," she said. "Honey, tell her what you told me." My boyfriend's fork slipped from his hand. The sound was loud enough to make people turn. He looked at me. Not with love, not with guilt, with fear. My heart started pounding. "Tell me what?" I asked. He swallowed, eyes darting to my mom, as if he needed permission. Then he said it. Words that cracked the entire room open. "We've been seeing each other." At first, my brain didn't understand. Seeing each other? Who? Me and who? Then my mom placed her hand on his shoulder like she was claiming a prize. She smiled at me. A slow, smug smile. "Oh, sweetheart," she said softly. "He means me. He's been seeing me." The room didn't breathe. My aunt dropped her napkin. My cousin whispered, "No way." Under her breath, my dad's face went blank like he was watching a car crash in slow motion. And my boyfriend, the man I trusted, just stared at me, hands shaking, as if waiting to see how fast I would break. But I didn't break. Not yet. I just sat there, staring at the two people who were supposed to love me, realizing they loved betraying me more. My name is Sophia, and until that Christmas dinner, I thought I understood my life. I'm 25. I work hard. I keep to myself. And I don't ask for much. I grew up in a house where my mom wanted to be the center of every room, every conversation, every story. And I learned early not to compete with her. When I brought home good grades, she said, "Well, I had better ones." When I dressed up for school events, she'd comment, "Cute, but that color looked better on me when I was your age." She wasn't a mother who supported you. She was a mother you had to manage. Still, I tried. I wanted peace. I wanted a family that didn't feel like a competition. Then I met Ethan, my boyfriend. Quiet, kind, patient, the opposite of my mom. At least, that's what I thought. But slowly, things changed. He started texting her more, laughing at her jokes longer than was normal, showing up to family dinners even when I wasn't home yet. And Mom? She welcomed him like he was already hers. Ethan's so polite. Ethan's so mature. Ethan understands me better than anyone. I tried to brush it off, tried to believe I was imagining it, but little cracks formed. He'd cancel dates with me, but somehow still had time to stop by my parents' house. Mom defended him every time he upset me. She'd say things like, "Don't be dramatic, Sophia. He's just comfortable with us." Comfortable. The word felt wrong. I didn't know it then, but those cracks weren't small. They were warnings. And I ignored every single one, right up until Christmas night, when the truth blew my life wide open. The change in my mom didn't happen all at once. It started quietly, small things. At first, she would smile too brightly whenever Ethan walked into a room. Not normal mom approves smiling. Something sharper, like she enjoyed being noticed by him. Then she began dressing up more on the days she knew he'd visit. Hair done, lipstick perfect, perfume so strong it hit you before she entered the room. Dad didn't comment. He never did. He had learned long ago to ignore her mood swings. But I noticed everything, especially the whispers. Sometimes I'd walk into the kitchen and my mom and Ethan would snap out of a conversation too fast, like a flame being covered. "Were you talking about me?" I'd ask. Mom would laugh. "Don't be paranoid, Sophia. Not everything is about you." Then she'd pat Ethan's arm. Too familiar, too comfortable. They started having inside jokes I didn't understand, sharing glances during dinner, finishing each other's sentences. Every time I tried to talk to Ethan about it, he brushed me off. "Your mom's just friendly," he'd say. "You're overthinking." But deep down, something told me I wasn't. One day, I came home early and heard them talking in the living room. Not flirting. Worse, whispering. When I stepped inside, They jumped apart like they'd been caught stealing. Mom said, "Oh, we were just discussing a surprise for you." But she couldn't even look me in the eye. That was the first moment my stomach twisted with a feeling I couldn't name yet. Not fear, not anger. Something colder. Recognition. Something was happening behind my back, and they were getting bolder. The more my mom leaned toward Ethan, the more he leaned away from me. It started with late replies. Before, he answered my texts within minutes. Now, hours. Sometimes not at all. "Sorry, I fell asleep." "Sorry, busy day." "Sorry, I didn't see it." Every message felt like a wall building between us. He began canceling plans too. Movie nights. Work ran late. Dinner dates. Not feeling well. Weekends together. Maybe next time. But every time he canceled on me, my mom somehow saw him. "Oh, Ethan stopped by earlier," she'd say casually. "He helped me move some boxes. He stayed for coffee. He kept me company while your dad was out." Her voice always carried a tiny challenge, like she wanted me to react. I didn't. Not yet. But the hurt sat heavy in my chest. One night, I tried to talk to Ethan seriously. "Are we okay?" I asked him. He didn't meet my eyes. "We are fine, Sophia. You're just stressed." He always said that. "You're stressed. You're tired. You're imagining things." It made me question myself. Until the day he did something I couldn't ignore. He showed up at my parents' house for dinner, even though I never told him we were eating there. "Oh, your mom invited me," he said with a shrug. My mom smiled like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Things are just easier when you're both here," she said. Both. Not me and Ethan. Her and Ethan. Something inside me sunk. I wasn't losing him by accident. He was slipping away on purpose. Right into her hands. The final warnings didn't come from words. They came from things I wasn't supposed to see. The first was a text message. I picked up Ethan's phone by mistake. Same model as mine, similar case. A message popped up on the screen before I could put it down. "Same time tomorrow? Your place or mine?" M. My heart stopped. M could have been anyone, but deep down I already knew. When I looked at Ethan, he snatched the phone like I'd touched fire. "Don't go through my stuff," he snapped. "I didn't," I said quietly. It lit up. He didn't explain the message. He didn't deny it. He just walked into the bathroom and stayed there for 20 minutes. That was the first crack. The second came a week later. My mom told me she was going shopping for holiday gifts, but I found a gift receipt on the kitchen counter. Not from a store I liked. Not my size. Not my style. A men's bracelet, engraved, with a date I didn't recognize. When I held it up, Mom froze for half a second before forcing a smile. "Oh, that's for your father." "Yes, for him," she stuttered. My mom never stuttered. The third sign was the worst. A photo on social media. One of those casual group pictures someone posts without thinking. I zoomed in on the background. There they were. My mom and Ethan, walking together, laughing. Too close. Too familiar. My chest turned cold. These weren't accidents. These weren't misunderstandings. Pieces were lining up into a picture I didn't want to see. Something ugly. Something real. And I was running out of excuses not to face it. I couldn't carry the suspicion alone anymore. It was eating me from the inside out. So I called the one person who never sugarcoated anything. My best friend, Lena. When she arrived, I didn't even speak at first. I just handed her the bracelet receipt, the screenshot of the text, and the photo. She studied them quietly. Then she looked at me and said the words I was afraid to hear. "Sophia, this isn't nothing. Something's going on." Her voice wasn't dramatic or emotional, just honest. And it hit harder because of that. We sat at my tiny kitchen table, going through everything again. Dates, times, messages. Little moments I had brushed off. One by one, the pieces connected. Ethan was with my mom on days he told me he was too tired to see me. The engraving date matched a day they both ran errands. The photo was taken near a cafe my mom claimed she never liked. The lies were thin, almost lazy, as if they believed I'd never question them. Lena leaned back and crossed her arms. "You need proof," she said. "Real proof, not guesses." I nodded. The fear in my chest began shifting into something else. A quiet, steady resolve. We started checking bank transactions, old messages, social media posts. Nothing dramatic, nothing invasive, just enough to see the pattern clearly. And when the pattern finally showed itself, it pointed in only one direction, straight at the two people I trusted most. My stomach twisted, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just whispered, "I need to know the truth before they destroy me completely." Christmas was days away, and I could feel something coming. A confession, a confrontation, a storm. I just didn't know yet that they planned to trigger it in front of the whole family. Christmas dinner felt wrong the moment I walked in. Everyone acted cheerful, laughing too loudly, smiling too hard, avoiding my eyes. My mom was dressed like she was going to a party, not a family dinner. Red dress, high heels, makeup perfect. She didn't even greet me. She went straight to Ethan. He stood beside her, stiff, pale, avoiding my face like I was a ghost. My stomach dropped. I took my seat beside my dad, who whispered, "Everything okay?" I didn't answer, because nothing was okay. Halfway through dinner, Mom suddenly stood up, her chair screeching across the floor. Her smile stretched too wide. She tapped her fork against her glass. "Everyone," she said loudly, "I have something important to share." My heart started pounding so hard I felt it in my throat. Then she turned to Ethan. "Honey," she said sweetly, "tell her what you told me." The whole room looked at him. He froze. His hands shook. His face went white. His breath hitched like he was drowning. "Sophia," he whispered. I felt the world tilt. He looked at my mom, then looked at me, and destroyed me in one sentence. "We've been seeing each other." A gasp ripped through the room. My fork slipped from my hand. My cousin covered her mouth. My aunt whispered, "Oh my God." My dad stood up so fast his chair fell. But my mom, she smiled like she'd won something. She placed her hand on Ethan's arm. "Oh, sweetheart," she said softly, "he means me." My vision blurred at the edges, but I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared at them both, realizing this wasn't a mistake. It was a plan, and they expected me to break. Everyone waited for me to explode. My mom stood proud, like she just won a prize. Ethan looked terrified, like he finally understood the cost of what he'd done. But I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even stand. I just breathed. One slow, steady breath. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out the small folder I'd brought just in case. I set it calmly on the table. "What's that?" Mom snapped, her smile cracking for the first time. "Proof," I said. My voice didn't shake. I opened the folder and slid out a few pages. The bracelet receipt, screenshots of texts, the photo from the cafe, the dates that matched their lies. The room leaned in. Mom tried to laugh. "Oh, please, Sophia." I cut her off. "This receipt," I said, holding it up, "is for a bracelet engraved with a date Ethan told me he was out of town." I turned to him. His eyes dropped. "This photo," I continued, "was taken at Cafe Boston. You told me you hated that place, Mom." Silence. "And this message," I laid the screenshot on the table, "is from a number saved under a fake name, but the Apple ID behind it, it's yours, Mom." Her face drained of color. My dad stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. "Susan, is this true?" She stuttered. For once, she had no script. Ethan whispered, "Sophia, please." I looked at him with a calm I didn't know I had. "You made your choice," I said. "Both of you did." My mom reached for the papers, but I pulled them back. "No," I said quietly. "You don't get to rewrite this." The room shifted. For the first time all night, I was the one in control. The moment I finished speaking, the entire table felt different. My mom wasn't smiling anymore. Her face twisted, anger, fear, embarrassment, all fighting at once. Ethan looked like he wanted to disappear. My dad was the first to react. He slammed his hand on the table. "Enough?" he said. His voice was low, shaking with anger I'd never heard before. He turned to my mom. "How long has this been going on?" She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Ethan tried first. "It wasn't serious," he said quickly. "It just happened. We didn't mean." I laughed. A small, tired laugh. "You didn't mean to lie for months? You didn't mean to meet behind my back? You didn't mean to cheat with my mother?" His face crumpled. My mom snapped, her voice sharp, desperate. "Don't act innocent, Sophia. You pushed him away. You ignored him. I was just trying to help." Dad stood up. "Help? By stealing your daughter's boyfriend?" The room went silent. My mom's defenses died in her throat. I picked up my folder and rose from my chair. "I'm done," I said simply. Ethan reached for my arm. "Sophia, wait, please. We can talk." I pulled back. "There's nothing left to talk about." My dad walked with me to the door. He didn't say much, just placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. "I'm proud of you," he whispered, and his voice broke a little. Behind us, Mom began crying. Real tears or performance. I didn't care anymore. Ethan stood frozen in the doorway, calling my name. I didn't look back. Not once. Because leaving that house wasn't running away. It was the first step toward getting my life back. I didn't go home that night. I went to a small hotel, sat on the bed, and let the silence finally reach me. No yelling. No lies. No pretending. Just me. For the first time in months, I could breathe without feeling someone pulling the air out of my lungs. The next morning, Dad called. He didn't bring up Mom. He didn't bring up Ethan. He just said, "I'm here for you, Sophia. Whatever you need." And that was enough. I moved out of my apartment a week later. Found a quiet place across town, small, bright, peaceful. A space that didn't carry their shadows. Some nights, the betrayal still stung. Not because of Ethan. He wasn't worth my heartbreak. It was my mom. The person who should have protected me was the one who cut the deepest. But here's the truth I finally learned. Their choices broke the relationship, not me. Never me. I didn't lose anything that night. I left what was already gone, and I gained something better. Myself. One evening, I stood by my new window, watching the city lights fade into the dark. I wrapped my arms around myself and whispered, "You survived this, and you're done shrinking." Because sometimes the most painful betrayal becomes the start of the strongest version of you.